All right, let's see here. Let's go ahead and see if this works. This works. All right. Always with a little delay. I always get so nervous with these live streams. They always work, but when they don't, they still freak me out. No matter what. Hi guys, happy Friday. How's everybody doing? Yeah, the last live stream, I don't know what happened. I was trying to give you all, everyone who was here early, I was trying to give you all memberships, and I don't know what happened. I failed at it apparently because then my live stream just went away and I panicked as I always do. I'm like, oh my God, where is it? But luckily we are back. How's everybody doing? Can you guys hear me? Okay. Can you guys see me? Just want to make sure that we are all good to go here before we get started because on my end, it's not really showing that it's working. Look, there's nothing going on. On my end, it's showing 0 viewers. Hello, hello, hello. Is anybody out there? Is anybody out there? Is anybody out there? Can you see me? See me? See me? Maybe I'm just talking out into the void, but if you guys can see me, hello. Hi guys, thank you so much for being here today. Yeah, I am okay. I know I sent out a poll this morning to all of my members because today was actually going to be just another regular Friday. I was working on the thumbnail for a live stream. Either way, I was gonna do a live stream. I was working on the thumbnail, and then I get a call from the VA, the Veterans Affairs. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm a veteran. I was in the Marines and the Coast Guard, and so back in February, when I was having my neck and back issues, I made an appointment and I went to see the doctor, and then they scheduled a specialist. But the specialist got scheduled for July. Okay. So from February all the way till July. So my original appointment for the specialist was going to be late July. I think it was July 30th or something. But I got a call this morning from the VA telling me that another veteran had canceled their appointment and if I'm willing to come in today. So I said, yes, of course. They told me you have an hour and a half. So I was like, okay, I'll be there. So of course I got up, I got crazy. I'm like, "Oh my God, what am I gonna do?" So I got ready. I got ready for it and then I went. But then it was an entire thing there too. I was stuck in traffic, you know how it goes. Stuck in traffic. So I was stuck in traffic, I was looking for parking, there was construction on the road, and so it was hectic, you guys. And originally I was supposed to hop on at 2 p.m. and I was late. Because it was just insane. It was insane. So it's been a crazy morning, you all. So, just bear with me if I'm still like, shaken up from the morning. But yes, I'm okay, guys. Yeah, really, it was just I was trying to get my neck and back checked. Honestly, I'm okay now. I had completely forgotten about the appointment because I'm okay. Ever since I got this arm, in fact, ever since I got this boom arm, I've been okay because I can do this. Hello. Right? I can move around. I can do whatever I want. Yes. So here we are. Thank you all so much for being here. We are going to be watching a Veroscope analysis today. And the reason I wanted to do this today is because yesterday we watched Chris Watts and the body cam footage. And I know that all of us were really into trying to figure out if Chris Watts took something out of his car or not, if it was the phone, if it was the ring. And so a lot of the body cam gives us a lot of clues, especially surrounding the laundry. I wrote it down here because so many of you told me about the laundry. Yes, Nithya, I can see you guys now. Now I can see you guys. There was a little delay. It's just weird. I don't know what's going on. There's a little delay, but now I can see you guys. Yeah, but yeah, you guys were telling me about the laundry, and when everybody entered the house, the laundry was already going, and so I just wanted to see what Veroscope analysis says about Chris Watts. I think it was very important to look at it, especially because we just did an analysis of it yesterday. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and start with the video. But before we do that, I do want to say Veroscope left a message, and I felt so special. I'm like, oh, Veroscope. Yeah, Veroscope left a message. Hi, Roxy. I saw your video the other day. Thank you for sharing an analysis. It's very much appreciated. Veroscope. And then I sent Veroscope a message back, right? Wow, Veroscope. Thank you for your detailed analysis videos. They are so informative. We have all learned so much from your videos. I appreciate all the hard work that you put into your content. Thank you for sharing with us. Because honestly, guys, it's one of the best analysis that I have seen ever, to be completely honest. Not just YouTube, but other analysis, even, I don't know, even Netflix, I wouldn't even consider that an analysis. But it's one of the better, scientific and very detailed analysis that I have seen, and so they're just amazing. Veroscope is amazing, and so, yeah, I felt special. I'm like, "Oh my god, Veroscope." So, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and watch, some more today. This is one of their newest videos. It was about 5 days ago, and it is titled, "Chris Watts Police Body Cam Statement Convicts Him." And yeah, go ahead and check them out if you haven't done so already. Give them a like, give them a thumbs up, and subscribe to their channel. Very, very informative. Tons of videos on Nicole Kessinger and Chris Watts, and really going through the science of behavioral analysis. So it's great. All right. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into the conversation before the confession. Look at this. And this is the welfare check. So it says, 13 August. And we're going to see how the police is interacting with Chris Watts. And as we know, he's being an idiot, right? Chris Twats is what we love to call him, right? Chris Twats. Julie, I agree. Yeah, his analysis is amazing. I love his videos, and Wendy Adelson and Jen Soto as well. Yeah, I haven't seen any of Jen Soto or Wendy Adelson yet, but yeah, I mean, overall, amazing analysis. So yeah. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. And I remember in our last chat, there's somebody who joined our gold member. So I do want to just celebrate them. It went away before I was able to give them a celebratory welcome. But welcome to gold members. All right, let's go ahead and get into it, you guys.
And we'll learn the techniques and exactly how he's doing it and where he's doing it. The advantage of learning this is it allows us to use the same techniques.
Can you guys hear that okay? Can you guys hear Veroscope? I just want to make sure that the volume is good for you guys on your end. Just let me know.
And the same methods in other statements. So, which one are we looking at today? This is the conversation before the confession. Frederick Police Welfare Check, 2018. 23 minutes of speech, 24 hours. But remember the porch interview we've done the analysis of with the Veroscope channel? If you go back and have a look at the Chris Watts's porch interviews. And before he had time to really begin the performance. So the closer we can get to the actual crime, the closer that statement is, very often the better, before it's had a chance to be contaminated. So let's have a look at some examples before we begin the video itself, and we'll watch Chris Watts and the police officer go into the house and talk. In fact, we might as well just see a little bit now, and then we'll go back to the analysis. Perhaps then it will give us some ground.
Great.
How long have you guys been married?
So, we've been together 8 years, married 6 this year.
Okay. And this is very unusual behavior?
Yeah, we can get that dog out of here.
Okay.
She's gonna flip.
So imagine what's going through his head. And we try to gain.
I mean, yeah, he's saying, imagine what is going through his head. And we already see him, he's beelining it into the room. And look at the way that he walks, too. It's every time that we see him in the body cam footage, he's always acting like he's doing something. Have you guys noticed that? He's always like, if he's on his phone, he's all intent with it. He's like, hello, Chase? Is this the bank? Oh, do you guys have money? He's always acting. I don't know. It's a weird thing that I see with Chris. It's almost as though he's pretending to be worried, but not really. And he's also trying to act like, oh, I want to find my family, but also not really. It's very strange behavior. And I just laugh every time I see him. One, because he's such an idiot, and I just don't like the guy, obviously. But also because he knows what he has done, and his body can't help but tell everybody that he has done it. That is, I think, the most ironic thing about this entire body cam footage. It's even worse, I think, than the sermon on the porch, because at least he knew that that was coming. He could have prepared for that, and he didn't. But he had no time to prepare for the body cam footage. Right? Yes. Yeah, always acting. Exactly. Yes. Yes, Lovey Rocks and Veroscope is amazing. He adds to what we need to know about the goon. Yes, all he cares about is Nicole Kessinger. Yes, exactly. And so that's what we're seeing here already, right? He's beelining it. He's like, I need a purpose. I need to go shut the curtains. He's always acting so busy. Oh my God. It's just such a dead giveaway that the guy is guilty. But anyway, let's continue.
Rapport with the suspect or the narrator.
Purse is on the counter right here.
Okay. So when you guys come home, do you usually use the front door or the garage door? How do you guys?
I usually open the garage door, come in.
Okay.
She's front or garage. It's kind
Okay, so usually is one of those phrases that in statement analysis we pay attention to. But did you notice that the police officer contaminated the question with the phrase usually, and we had it parroted back? So it loses its intelligence value to some degree. Whereas if he had said the statement uncontaminated, usually we use the garage, almost answering what he did, but slipping in that word usually, it would put in a flag. Here, he gets a free pass, unfortunately, for that statement.
Yeah, I love that Veroscope brought this up, that the police officer contaminated the question, because I've always tried to figure out a word for Kevin, Kevin Koback, and the way that he contaminated every single question that he asked Nicole Kessinger. And that's the word. It's contaminated. Because at least for Kevin Koback asked Nicole questions that made it to where she had time to come up with lies, or she was able to weasel her way out of the question. And so that's what we saw a lot in this case. It's very unfortunate. It really is. I think it's one of the contributing factors to why the case ended up the way that it did, although we all hope that it can be reopened. But what we have so far, I believe it's because a lot of it, my opinion, the police dropped the ball. I mean, they really did. Even just with the footage that we watched yesterday, I was talking to a few of you in our community board and in the comments saying why didn't the cop walk in behind him? Chris is very clearly looking at, looking inside the car, opening the door to the Lexus and being all suspicious. And the cop is just standing there. He's like, yeah, oh, Chris, is it okay if I come in? Yes, guy. You're a police officer. Someone called you because a pregnant woman and her babies are missing. But again, what I saw a lot of was the police really trying their best not to, I don't know, make Chris feel uncomfortable or violate any of his rights. They were giving him the benefit of the doubt. And so because of that, a lot of what we see is the police dropping the ball. They didn't treat this as a suspect right off the bat. They saw Chris as just a husband who's looking for his family, rather than seeing his suspicious behavior and acting on that. So that's just my opinion. And I know that there are ways of doing this, right? Being able to do an investigation correctly. But it's just one of the things that I wish that the cops had been a little more diligent. Just as soon as Chris opened the garage door, why not walk behind him? Look, what is he looking at? But anyway, let's continue.
Fence.
Okay. Is that a ring out there?
Oh, that was,
No, the doorbell, is that a ring
yeah,
doorbell?
like when you got a visitor, it does, but I don't think the speaker is on to where you hear it, like by.
Okay. I guess my question for you is, would it show her leaving with the kids? Did you have any alerts?
If she came out here, yes. Like if
Did you have any alerts today with that?
just when her friends were here.
Does it?
So did you notice he said, if she came out here, yes? If she came out here, yes. So notice the little words. The little words arrive from the unconscious. The larger, more descriptive adjectives and nouns and story construct comes more from from you choosing it, although the words do arrive unconsciously, but you affect and you choose more of those larger words that hold the sentence together. The A's and the to's and the thes and the I's and the we's, you don't select. They arrive unconsciously in another part of the brain. And here's the thing, that other part of the brain isn't in on it. They're not in on the lie, or it isn't in on the lie, if that makes sense. It doesn't know to lie, but it's responsible for choosing those little words. And so if you know where to look, every now and again, the liar, they choose the correct little word for what actually happened, the truth, but the incorrect one for their lie. And it stands, if you know what you're looking for, it stands there with a little beacon on it. And we call that a deceptive marker. And we put in a flag when we see one. So it could be a dropped pronoun, as an example, left the house, instead of I left the house. So we would notice, the person dropped the pronoun there. They, to some extent, removed themselves psychologically from the statement. And because, did you notice they dropped the I? And it was left the house instead of I left the house. So we would notice that. Little words like if, they are not chosen by his conscious mind. So if he's aware that they didn't go out of this door, it might just come out. Boom. If. He also has to explain away the camera, doesn't he? Let's carry on.
Only record when the doorbell rings or anytime?
So this part has always stood out to me. And I do want to ask you guys a question because yes, somebody, sorry, here I'm looking through the chat. Somebody said that he got nervous. Nidia, yes, he got nervous when the policeman said ring. I noticed that too, right? Like as soon as the police officer is asking him about the Vivint, he's having a hard time describing what the Vivint is doing or whether or not it's recording any movement outside. And he gets really nervous and he's like, oh yeah, if it does this. And then he moves over and he's demonstrating. Oh, if you stand out here and you wave your arms, you move and you do the hokey pokey, it might get the camera movement. He's making a bunch of excuses, right? And this is because he's very clearly nervous. And so I wanted to ask you guys, is it possible that Chris, he disabled the Vivint camera the entire month of July as we know it, and a portion, possibly the first 2 weeks of August, and then he turned it back on when Shanann arrived? Is that possible? Because what I'm seeing here, and again, this is just my opinion based on what I'm seeing, but it does look like Chris is getting very nervous about Vivint. As we know, he was on the phone with Vivint a lot leading up to the day of the murders. He was on the phone with them for 25 minutes, for 20 minutes here, and who knows what he was doing. So was he turning off Vivint for the entire month of July. And let's go ahead and pull up the calendar here. Let's go ahead and pull up the calendar. Let's see the month. Okay, so for the month of August, or sorry, the month of July. So for the entire month of July, Chris and Nicole Kessinger basically spent the entire month together. Chris's own words, he says that he never spent any time at home. He would work, go home, you know, to Shanann's house, get dressed, change, and then go directly to Nicole Kessinger's house. So it does seem like he never, ever spent any time at home. Do we believe that he turned off the camera during the entire month of July so that Shanann wouldn't see him coming in and leaving? Where are you going, Chris? Why aren't you at home? And then he turned it back on the morning, or at least maybe the weekend, that Shanann was supposed to arrive. What do we think? And, you know, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a poll. I want to see what you guys think, because it's always stood out to me. It's just very weird the way he's acting. And as we know, I mean, he's obviously lying, but why? You know, why is he all nervous around Vivint? We know that there's something going on with the Vivint and the cameras and all of the activity going on that morning, the router catching stuff. So what do we think? All right, I'm going to go ahead and ask the question. The question is going to be, do we think Chris turned off Vivint for the entire month of July? Okay, so yeah, for month of July, and then turned it back on before Shanann was supposed to arrive. All right, and then back on when SR, so remember SR is Shanann Rusek, when SR returned. All right, so that's going to be the question, yes and no. And then my other option is going to be, I don't know. Some people are just, you know, I'm like, I don't know, I can't make up my mind. Or, you know, we just might not even have enough information, so either or. All right. Oh, Julie, thank you so much. Aw, I appreciate you. Yay. Welcome, Sandusco. Welcome to memberships. All right. All right, there we go. All right, so the question is, do we think Chris Watts turned off Vivint for the month of July and then back on when SR returned? Yes, there we go. And we don't know, right? I mean, who knows, really? Who really knows? But that's the question I've always wondered. I've always had that question. I'm like, huh? Especially the way he's acting. He's just so weird about it. But anyway, let's continue.
If you're like right here, it should just start, the proximity should hit up.
Okay, and if he had anything on that today?
Just her friends.
Oh, even the way that he's doing this, why does he have to stomp? It'll only capture you if you're right here. Do you not have to make all that movement, Chris? Right? But again, he's trying to downplay everything that's happening right now. He's trying to distract. Oh, I don't know. If you wave your arms a lot, it might capture you. And then the police is asking him, did you have any movement this morning? And he says, yes. But he only says it when Nicole Atkinson arrived. So he's saying yes, but it's when her friends arrived. Notice he even says her friends. He is distancing himself from Nicole Atkinson, someone who he has known for a very long time. He has known Atkinson for a long time. Atkinson was very close friends with Shanann, and we know he's resentful because it was Nicole Atkinson who ended up calling the police. So even the way that he describes Shanann's friends, right? Oh, when her friend was here, he says. Ugh. Let's continue.
And what time was that?
12:10, and about 10 minutes afternoon.
Okay. But nothing between the time when she got here this morning?
Like she got here at 2, Only thing
This morning?
Yeah, 2 o'clock this morning, so
Okay.
1:48 on here. And the only thing that was weird was that the garage door said is left open after I left. And it might have been the sensor, but like my phone doesn't show when
For your
So he's sensitive about this garage and this garage door, isn't he? He won't leave it alone. He keeps circling back to it. Did you notice that? So we understand that the order of priority to him is important. When he was outside on the street, as we'll see later on in the analysis, I think he said something along the lines of, yeah, I just want to get out, want to go for a walk, clear my head around the block. That was his priority. We'll come back to that. But here, the priority and the sensitivity is around the garage.
Yeah, it doesn't show if it's.
What do we think about that? What do we think about the garage? We have so many questions about the garage, right? Tons of questions about the garage door and how Chris was getting notifications throughout the day that the garage door was left unlocked, right? Or open is what he kept saying. So, right, speculation time. Do we believe that it was unlocked because Nicole Kessinger was in the home and she had to get out through somewhere, right? We don't know if she was in the home or she arrived later. When we look at the calendar, let's look at the calendar and let's look at the day, all right? So when we look at the day, we see that Nicole pings in Frederick at 6:16 a.m. And so as we were discussing yesterday, it's possible that either Nicole Kessinger arrived at around that time, or she was already in the house and calling Jim for advice or whatever it can be, or she was leaving. But the interesting thing is that we see Nicole Kessinger ping, and then we see a lot of activity from Chris Watts. And what we know is also that he was also getting notifications that the garage door was left unlocked. And he talks about this so many times. It's like the one thing that he's trying to get the police to focus on is the garage door was left unlocked. Do we believe that he was just trying to make it seem like Shanann was abducted? Someone, unknown stranger just showed up and was like, "Oh, I think I'm going to abduct a whole family today. I'm going to go in through the garage." Is that what he was trying to convince everybody of? What do we think? Yes, there's something to the garage thing. Yeah, I agree. Also, Nikki was there. Yeah, how could he drive with 2 children late of the night? NK was there, that's why. All right. Hello, hello. All right, someone was walking around in the home. Okay. Yes, Rock, and in the case she couldn't get out of the back or possible she was meant to drive the Lexus somewhere, but the plan unraveled. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And so when we look at this, we can try and figure out, especially if we're going to believe that the phone and the ring, right? This is a rock, but we're going to pretend it's a ring. If the rock, if the ring and the phone were under the seat of the Lexus, was the plan originally, as we believe, that someone was meant to drive the Lexus out of the garage, which is why it was left unlocked. The phone and the ring were in the car already. But then when Nicole Kessinger found out I can't get into Shanann's phone, she bailed. And the phone and the ring were already where they were supposed to be, but she didn't have the guts to drive the Lexus out and go and drop it off wherever it was meant to be. Is that a possibility? Again, that is just my opinion, and the way that I see the planning in that morning, just because of how Chris talks about the garage and how he went straight to the car. He knew He knew as soon as he pulled up, he knew that the first thing he had to do was open the garage door and look inside the Lexus. Why did he know to do that? It's just a question that I've always had. Nate's camera would have caught any activity in and out of the garage. And see, that's another question that I have. Where is all of Nate's footage? Do we have all of Nate's footage? That's a really good question. I'm so glad you brought that up because I have been digging. I've been wondering, is there more of Nate's footage? Maybe not even just the day of, but a few days before that. Because if we do, then we would be able to see Nicole Kessinger. We would see her every time that she visited Chris Watts. As we know, she herself admitted she was there twice. So it would be great to see Nate's footage from her walking in and out of the house. Wonder if NK was supposed to leave the Lexus soon after Chris Watts left. Yeah. Yeah. It's the question. It's the question that I've been having for a very, very long time. Yes, maybe. Would love to know. Yeah. And I wonder why not everything was released. Everything that we have, it's just, it's not full, it's not complete. And I did mention yesterday that even Tammy Lee was saying that the investigation was not full and it was not complete. And this is her statement right here. This is from Tammy Lee, CBI. Whoa, wait, like we're not done. We have all of these things to do. We didn't examine all of the evidence. We didn't interview every witness we needed to. We didn't do all of the things that you do in a normal investigation because he stopped the clock. We were relieved that it was going to be over, but at the same time, we felt like, in a sense, we didn't finish. Exactly. It wasn't finished. Tammy Lee herself said it. All right, Hurt Locker, I agree with you. They both are being revealed almost 8 years later. Rox, you're brilliant. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hurt Locker. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Woo, celebrate good time. All right. And yes, they're both being revealed 8 years later, but we are still here talking about it. And honestly, the best thing that we can do is keep the case alive because, as we all believe, there's still one person that needs to be serving time. But anyway, let's continue.
Shots.
And who's your alarm through?
Vivian.
Okay.
But Nikki, her friend that came here about 12:10, she said the garage door was shut when she got here.
Okay.
That was the only thing that was weird.
All right. Were you going to hang out there or you want to?
The only thing that was weird. So that's twice. And what we're doing when we're getting good at spotting liars and reading deception is we're noticing these patterns of sensitivity with the narrator. So we've got the immediate wanting to get away from the house and clearing his head and focus on himself, which was outside, instead of focusing on his family, which would be inside. And his other actions, repeating things being weird, which is weird, and repeating that usually, although he's forgiven a little bit about that because it was contaminated, wasn't it? But the garage is still sensitive in its own right.
I'm in here. Okay. Where's the purse at?
On the counter.
Julie, yes. Whenever he says Nikki, his brain short circuits. Absolutely. Have you guys noticed that? I've included that in a lot of my videos. Every time that he mentions Nikki, he does short circuit. It's his brain. It's like his brain knows there's Nikki Kessinger and Nikki Atkinson, and they're both there. And his brain doesn't differentiate. It doesn't know which Nikki to really talk about or pull from his brain. So when he says Nikki, he's like, "No, not Twister Nikki, the other Nikki." That's because he is feeling it. He's feeling the pressure, he's feeling anxiety because he knows every time he says Nikki, he wants Nikki Kessinger. He murdered his entire family for her. So every time he says Nikki, he feels weird. And we see him short circuit, literally. The whole brain, you know how I put the loading sign. That's literally Chris Watts doing that, short circuiting. Thank you for bringing that up, Julie. Let's continue.
I'm still recording.
So let's go and have a little bit of more actual analysis. Look, he says this. She told me she was going to go to her friends out and be with the kids, take the kids with her. So, and this is the sentence that is the entire explanation that he gives to the police for where his pregnant wife and 2 small daughters had gone. One sentence. This is the only real explanation. But notice, he says she was going to go. She told me. So notice, he doesn't have the balls to make the statement his own. He tries to hand it off and make it her responsibility. So there's an element of victim blaming here. She told me she was going to go to her friends out and be with the kids, take the kids with her. One of the other things that we learn in deception is eventually we start to recognize a pattern, almost like an accent. And it tells us that due to stress, trauma, and other factors, the brain having to compute so many things, it has to compute the truth, suppress the truth, the story, it has to manage your reaction to the story. Are you buying it? And adjust and justify more. The mind is spinning so much more that errors are made. The small words aren't errors, they're chosen correctly. But other errors and overload of the mind with the various different tasks it has to do at once, that it stalls and it stutters and it starts to self-censor because it didn't like where it was going, where the sentence was heading. So it stops and starts again. And we see this element of confused language, like you've heard a French accent and you'll always know a French accent whenever you hear it in the future. You know it's French. And it becomes the same with deception. You recognize the music. And that's the skill level which we're building. And there's over a couple of 100 hours now of Veroscope videos where we're going through, like now, learning the forensic linguistics and the statement analysis skills which are used by various law enforcement agencies around the world, including the FBI's behavioral analysis unit. Also, if anyone's interested in the history of statement analysis, do go and look up people like Peter Hyatt, Steve Johnson, and other people well known to have brought the skill and developed the skill into the USA, originally from Avinoam Sapir from Israel. If anyone's interested in the history of how statement analysis from the practitioner level rather than the scientific level has grown and developed.
Wow, getting really into it. I mean, I love all this stuff, so I'm writing it down because I'm definitely going to go check. But so something that just popped into my mind last night as I was getting ready to sleep, actually. I was replaying our live stream in my head and I was just thinking, I do this a lot, I'm obsessed with this case and I'm always going down a rabbit hole. And something popped up in my head, and I just want to run it by you guys. Let me know what you guys think. So, yesterday, I really was wondering, why would Chris go out of his way to hide the phone, right? We were wondering. And I thought maybe he would want to hide the phone because, like I said, maybe Nicole Kessinger had her fingerprints all over it, so he didn't want her fingerprints on there. So I was just wondering, like, what was the main reason for him hiding the phone? And it dawned on me, guys, it dawned on me that obviously the reason that Chris wanted to hide the phone is because the original plan fell through. If we're going to analyze this very closely, we see here that at 7:40, Chris texted her a text message, right? He texted her, if you are leaving, let me know where the kids are at, right? Or something to that effect. Let me see. I'm going to pull up the actual discovery so that we can see the exact words that Chris Watts texted. And then we're going to get to this because it's related to this. But all right, where is it? Where is it? He texted her at 7:40. Okay, here it is. So at 7:40, he texted her, staged message, if you take the kids somewhere, please let me know where they are at. So when you see this message, it tells you that Chris was expecting a response, right? Because at this point, he's staging the narrative that Shanann left. Okay? This is what he's doing. He's staging it right now saying, "Oh, we fought last night and she's leaving me." And what he was trying to do was prove to the police or whomever, friends, family who were looking for Shanann, my guess is that he was trying to prove to everybody that she did leave via text messages that she was supposedly going to send him, right? And so that's what we're seeing here. He's sending a message saying, let me know where they are at, so that people can think that they were having a communication back and forth. Shanann left him and he's like, please let me know where they're at. Shanann replies, no, I'm never coming back, right? But it's supposed to be Nicole Kessinger. This is the communication that it was supposed to look like that. So if police did get involved, all they can do is, look, police, my wife texted me. And they would have looked at the entire thread and seen, oh yeah, she's texting you and she told you that she left you. Well, when the plan actually fell through, okay, this is what dawned on me. If he realized that no one's going to text him back, that is when he had to change the entire narrative, the whole story. So now, instead of making it seem like Shanann left and they were fighting, and he's like, look, I have proof because she texted me, since he didn't have proof anymore, he had to change the story. And so then he starts telling people she went to her friend's house. That is when he started saying, oh, actually, I don't know, they went on a play date. The story originally was supposed to be Shanann left me. But because Nicole didn't get into the phone, the entire plan changed, and it went from Shanann left me, she abandoned me and took the kids. Here's the text messages to prove it. It went from that to, I don't know where she's at. She told me she was going to go to her friends out and, be out with the kids and take the kids with her. But I don't know. I think she went on a play date. She didn't tell me where she was at. And so what we see when we see Chris Watts with the phone and we see that Nick found the phone, the look of disappointment on his face is realizing that the phone is going to show that he was very well trying to text Shanann. He was showing the police, look, I did text her. If you leave, let me know where the kids are at. So that in and of itself proves that Chris was already believing that Shanann was going to abandon him. So it contradicted his story. Finding the phone contradicted the story of him saying she went on a play date, because the text message shows that he was already believing that Shanann left, if that makes sense. And it just dawned on me. I'm like, oh, duh, that's the reason that
How you
he
guys doing?
looks so panicked and so absolutely. This is, I found it here on, I don't know where it's at. Oh yeah, it is YouTube. But yeah, that is what we see Chris do. He is disappointed, and the look on his face is that. It really is disappointment because he realized, holy shit, they're going to see the text message and then they're going to know that the story of me kissing my wife goodbye and telling her, oh, take the kids out to the play date. All of that was BS because the text itself showed that Chris was already thinking that Shanann was going to abandon him. What do you guys think about that? Remember, Roxy told Troy McCoy her ring was on the counter too that morning. Macker. Oh my goodness. I have to write this down. I guess we haven't gotten to that part of Troy McCoy's interview, but holy shit, this is huge. Yes, exactly. Okay, so then if Troy McCoy testified, or, why do I keep saying testified? Nobody testified. If Chris McCoy told the police that Chris Watts told him that Shanann's ring was on the counter, that means that this was the plan originally, and it fell through in real time. It's like we're seeing the exact time that the plan fell through. That is crazy. Thank you so much for that, Macker. Here, I'm going to write it down. Troy McCoy, just so that we can go ahead and look into that as well. But, right? It really does tell us that the whole plan fell through. Look at his face.
Say, when that thing turns back on, it's gonna start blowing up. Oh yeah, trust me. It was shut down? She's in the flag. Yeah. Well, it was originally under the pillow on the couch. You know where it passed goes?
I don't know where it passed goes.
It used to be 2385, but now it's 6 digits.
It's the baby's due date.
1, 31, 8, 19. What does she do for work? She works at a direct sales company called Drive.
Look, he looks like he wants to cry. She works for direct sales for a company called Thrive. The look of disappointment. He's pissed that Nick found the phone. He's wondering, how the hell did he find the phone? That big house. Chris spent 2 whole minutes in that big house. And he ended up hiding the phone under the cushions of the couch that Nick ended up looking through and found it. This is how stupid this man is. And we're expected to believe that he was the mastermind of this entire crime. Oh, please, please. Giant potato head, tiny brain, no thoughts. There's no way in hell that a man this stupid was capable of mastering this entire crime, which of course fell through, but that's beside the point, okay? It was still very well thought out, I think, in my opinion, especially if you're going to have all these moving parts, right? Oh, someone's going to be here texting, you're going to be here, I'm going to be over here, I'm going to tell my friend Troy that she left her ring, right? It's a lot of moving parts. Way too much for one man of this low-level intellect to be able to do all on his own. I mean, I was thinking about this yesterday too. I'm thinking, where would I want to hide the phone if I was really trying to keep it away and I don't want anybody to find it? Why would he go and put it upstairs under the cushions of the couch? There's so many other places that he can hide the phone, and he decided to just, where should I put it? I guess I'll hide it under this tiny little sheet of paper. No one's gonna find it here. Is that okay? I don't think anyone's gonna find it. And then he gets upset when Nick, you know, Nick comes over and he's like, "Oh, I wonder if there's something here. Oh, look, a phone." What an absolute moron. Moron. God. Anyway, yeah, what do you guys think? Yes, he's pathetic. Yeah, all of this because of a scam. Oh God, V-Bug. God, you guys are hilarious. Yes. Yes, all of this because of a lady in a brown bikini found under all of the stanchions at Target. But yeah, it's absolutely pathetic. Yeah, he underestimated Nick. Absolutely, with love. Yes, he underestimated Nick. And as we see, in that whole body cam footage, the way that looks at Nicole Atkinson and Nick is just full of disdain. He hates them. He's like, "Oh, I can't believe you guys are here. You ruined my plan." That's definitely the feeling and the vibe that I get from Chris. And as we know, if you guys have watched Nicole Atkinson, she herself says the same thing. The house felt eerie, and she knew that Chris was off. Yeah, 50 Shades of Brown. How many different shades of brown do we have? Well, it's Chris's favorite color, so who knows? There's potato brown, potato head brown, shit bikini brown. I don't know. There's so many different types of brown. There's mud brown, apparently. Who knows? So many types of brown. All right, let's continue.
And of course, you'll remember many of the Netflix series, with the Zodiac and Mindhunter, and you'll know that they use language to understand the killer, but not just in that sense of catching the serial killer, but also in that sense of being able to read the letter and gain intelligence from it. So the skill encompasses lots of different areas, and that's what we're learning. Anyway, the point is here, look, she told me she was gonna go to her friends out and be with the kids, take the kids with her. So it actually hasn't happened though, has it? All we've got is that she told me. The action didn't complete. We don't have and she left and she slammed the door and she drove off and the gravel spat behind and there was I won't say the word, and a little bit of swearing and don't come home. But nothing.
I love Veroscope. I love it. I love Veroscope. He's so funny. But yeah, this is the thing too, is that he's pointing out that it's almost like a pattern. And the thing is, how did Chris think this was gonna fly? How did he actually think this was gonna fly? Telling friends and family, I don't know, she told me she was gonna spend time with, I don't know, friends. I don't know, she told me she was going on a play date. And he expected people to be okay with that answer? That's what I don't understand about this guy. Did he not know his own wife? Did he not know how much her friends loved her and how involved she was in the community, in Thrive, in her job? Did he really not know that? Was he that desperate? I can't believe this. Shit for brains brown. Yes. So many brownies. Yeah. Because he's a dimwit. Exactly. See, the guy just doesn't think. He does not think. All right, let's continue.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just sensitivity around the garage. So he cannot commit. He cannot commit to this. Yeah. Okay, let's carry on with the video itself.
stuff.
Yep. Look through this.
Whose phone is that?
I believe that is his. Mom overtook hers. That's from vomiting.
Is that a diary or what is that?
It's for work, I believe. I was thinking it was possibly a diary, but it's talking about like motivation stuff.
See, he couldn't have hidden it in the pantry or something. Again, I'm glad that they found the phone, of course, but it's just like I said, this guy's just so stupid. There's so many places that he could have hid the phone. 2 minutes he spent in the house by himself. 2 whole minutes. And he went straight upstairs and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna put the phone under the cushions and put the ring right here. And I'll call it a day. People are gonna think she ran away, obviously. What an idiot." Well, let's continue.
It's well organised, isn't it?
God, oh my God, look at the doll. Is that the doll? Oh, I just want to rewind it really, really quickly. Oh, why have I never seen this before? It's right here. This is the doll. And here, this is where the doll was laid down, and then Chris put that sheet over the face, right? I don't know why. This is just so creepy. I don't know why. I just got I don't know. It just feels very eerie. I've never seen this before. This part of the body cam footage. It's weird. It's so creepy.
How did you say the kids were?
Forest.
This is very neat for having 2 little kids. Who's got asthma?
I don't know. Kids need medication too, and apparently she didn't take their medication either.
Celeste. This is all their medication.
That's
Yeah,
the
Celeste, the kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's albuterol for a nebulizer. Something for an inhaler.
I mean, yeah, you can't really tell from this angle here, but it looks like the entire desk has been ransacked. It's a mess. I don't believe that Shanann would have left her desk a mess before leaving for Arizona. What do you guys think? Again, what I know of Shanann is she was OCD, very, very organized. Everything was labeled. Everything was in even color coordinated. If we've seen her closet. The closet space is so well organized. You have Chris's clothes on one side and then her clothes on the other side. So seeing the office a mess has always stood out in this crime. It has stood out to a lot of people because we know that Shanann would never leave it a mess. Searching for the code. Exactly, Julie. Yep. Yeah, looking for a phone password in panic. Oh shit, where is it? Oh my God. Right? That's what it looks like. Someone frantically looking for something. Where can I text out of? Oh my God, where's the password? Let me find some clues. Which Chris was so completely just dissociated from this, right? Completely distanced from his family that he didn't even think, oh, maybe the password might be Nico's birthday when he's supposed to be due. He didn't even think about that. He was so up Nicole Kessinger's booty hole that he did not care to even think, what is the possibility? Like what could the password possibly be? This is so crazy to me. He did not even think about what could the password be. That is how like I said, that is how distanced he was from his family at that point because he was so obsessed with Nicole Kessinger and her brown bikini. Let's continue. What is that on the floor? Yeah, look at that. There's stuff on the floor. What is this in the corner here? Look at all these papers. There's like a pile of papers here. I think this was definitely someone going crazy trying to find some information. Yes, Janet, they were looking for some important paperwork. Brown, because after back twister. Oh my God, Sandra. Yes, I would have tried the girls' birthdays too. I mean, come on. I still use my kids' birthdays. Yes, exactly. Exactly, right? Hello. What is the most important thing that is coming up in your life, Chris? What could it possibly be? What numbers are important to your wife? But he didn't care. No, he didn't care. Let's continue.
Let's fast forward a bit.
That window that was covered is so weird. It has always stood out to me. This one right here, What is that, like a black bag or something? Whoa, what do we think about this? I don't know why a thought just popped in my head. Did he block it so that no one can see what he was doing in the basement? Is that what he was doing? Is he blocking it so that no one can see? Remember, everything in the house was locked up. The front door, Nicole Atkinson actually had the code to the front door, but she couldn't get in because it was latched from the inside. And she said herself that the only time that the inside was latched was when Cece was in the house so that she wouldn't try to escape. But the inside was latched. The back sliding door, the little thing that closes it, there's like I don't know what to call it. It's like a little stick that you put it against the door so that you can't open it. That was also down, and you couldn't even see through anything because it was completely covered. So is it possible that this is why he set it up like this? Or was this already set up like that before? I don't know. This is just a question that I have because it just looks strange. Unless unless this was normal because he was sleeping down there and he didn't want the sun to wake him up. I don't know. What do we think? NK got her witch cape caught. V-Bug. NK got her witch cape caught when she was climbing. Yes. Is this her witch cape? Wouldn't it be brown though? I love it. Yeah, what in the world? This is so strange. Let's continue. Oh man, I don't know why that tickled me. That just tickled me so much, V-Bug. I can't stop laughing. It's like I'm picturing Nicole Kessinger climbing in and actually getting caught. Like, like in the cartoons when they get caught on like a pole or something and they're just hanging there. And she's like, Christopher, I need your help. I need your help, Christopher. Oh man. All right, let's continue.
The only thing you're missing are the kids' blankets.
What's that?
The only thing that's gone is the kids' blankets, like the binkies. That's why they won't go anywhere without them.
So they are gone?
Yep. Car seats are in the car. Keys are in the or on the center console of the car. For cash, all their ID, everything's still here. Phone's here.
See if that one's unlatched.
I tried opening it.
Just came out the door then.
Yeah, press that thing and see how long it takes.
Look at how he's standing. Oh my God. Look at how he's standing. Even the way he's standing is so awkward. He's facing the street and he's just looking, he's like, oh, they're going to close my garage door. With both hands on his side. It's so weird. Is that a mannequin or is that Chris? Is that a Christopher mannequin? He's not moving at all. Yes, exactly, Sebastian. Like a small boy that did something wrong. Yes, it was me that put crayon all over the wall. It's okay, sorry. It's okay, I'll clean it up later. Yeah, that's the look that he's giving. Oh, sorry, I spilled the milk. He has that look on his face. Oh, it wasn't me. Please don't blame me for it. Oh my God.
So she doesn't have any family or anyone around here?
Neither of us do. They're all back in North Carolina. We moved here back in 2012. Came out here to visit some friends during Thanksgiving, fell in love with the place, moved out here a few months later.
Does she have any friends around here?
Just friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got friends in Frederick, Erie, Aurora, that part of Erie, Broomfield, Parker.
Have you tried to contact any of them?
Oh yeah, we've exhausted every option. The last thing I'm going to do is hospitals. Hotels. There's so many, but...
And no one's heard from her today? Have you checked your bank accounts?
That's another thing I was going to do, because I don't have access through here.
That's good.
Sometimes the liar finds it difficult to say no. Did you notice then? He found it difficult to say no. Let's just play that again. He just went blank, silence. And at conversational speed, those silences can often be missed. What we will sometimes do is we'll fill in the blanks for them. And so the gaslighter or the liar, they'll often say half a sentence, hoping that in our own minds we finish the sentence for them, almost mind reading, knowing what they're going to say. And then the conversation moves on. And our mind almost decides that the person did say that second half of the sentence that we filled in the blanks for. Do you see what I mean? It's subtle, but listen, he doesn't reply. He's asked a direct question. He doesn't want to directly lie. Liars try to avoid it at all costs, including silence. Listen.
There's so many, but...
And no one's heard from her today? Have you checked your bank accounts?
That's another thing I was going to do, because I don't...
So we got a little shake of the head. No verbal. He couldn't commit to it. That's very telling this early in the interview. So what would happen, of course, perhaps in a real event where it's extremely important and officers had the skill or the availability of an analyst, is they would immediately send it for analysis, which is what we're doing right now. So let's go back to that now. Let's see what else we can find. So we didn't like this sentence, did we? But also, and this is very common across the criminals with their victims, not only do we get a little bit of victim blaming, but we also get the avoidance of their name. So we've got 20 odd minutes, haven't we?
Yeah, and this is what we know Nicole Kessinger does. Excuse me. Yeah, Nicole Kessinger does this all the time. All the time. And so a lot of what I look at when I'm watching these videos with Nicole Kessinger and Chris Watts is that we know that Chris Watts is guilty because one, he confessed, and obviously all of the evidence. But we see the same type of behavior from Nicole Kessinger, who claims to be innocent. So they both have the very same type of deceptive behavior. And so we are comparing the behavior of a man that we know is guilty to that of a woman that was not found guilty of anything. But the behavior is very, very similar. There is no denying that. Nicole Kessinger never said the name of Shanann, ever. She says that woman or that couple or they, those guys, those girls, those little girls. Very rarely does she say Shanann's name because she is distancing herself from the victim. And we see the same thing with Chris Watts, but we know that Chris is guilty. And so I think it's a very fair comparison to be able to compare the behavior of Chris and the behavior of Nicole Kessinger because it's the same. It's very similar. I think it's the same because they're both lying, they're both deceptive, they both censor themselves before they answer a question. And we know that Chris did it. So why is Nicole also acting like Chris? Why is she also acting guilty if she's not, right? She claims that she isn't. So why is she acting that way?
Of officers looking in cupboards, but also some audio as well. And he doesn't say her name, well, perhaps once that I missed, but very rarely. The tools, now possession is something that we take note of, but he doesn't take possession of his family. He doesn't use my wife, my daughters, my girls, my kids, all their names. He has removed himself from them. And yet we would expect in such a circumstance almost the opposite. But in terms of baseline, he knows full well what's his, my wrenches, etc. I'd fast forward.
Welcome. Let's celebrate. Wow. My throat is weird right now, you guys. Welcome, Sherry. Welcome to members. Welcome to the family. Yay. Yeah, look at this part. I read something earlier. One of you guys said, yeah, Kessinger is on borrowed time. But yes, every time that Nicole Kessinger is forced to say Shanann's name, she says it like she's about to be sick. She even does the whole strangulation motion, right, with her hands. And this is something that Kevin is asking her, "Oh, do you know her name? Can you say her name?" Even Kevin realizes that for some reason, Nicole Kessinger can't say her name. And when she's forced to say it, she goes, Shanann. Yeah, like she's about to puke. Why? Well, it's because she was distancing herself. And right now here we're talking how Chris was saying my things, right? Oh, I have my book jug or sorry, my water jug, my bookcase, I have my tools, my wrench set, my this, my that. But never once did he say my daughters, my kids, my wife. He only said, I hope that they are okay. Wherever they're at, I hope that they come back. Very, very distanced. Let's continue. Hello, hello.
A little bit. So unfortunately, we missed it. But when he was outside, he said, I was just going to walk around the neighborhood, just clear my head. So we noticed the two justs, sensitivity, and also what is important to him, what we first hear. He wants to abandon the place and just go for a walk and clear his poor head. Walk around the neighborhood. Just. I was just going to walk around the neighborhood, even though my wife and children are missing. You know, Just clear my head, poor me. Do you see the mentality? It's awful, isn't it? And easy to miss in the heat of the moment. It almost seems plausible until we slow down and say, hang on, and think about this. At conversational speed, when you're with someone, perhaps you don't know them very well, or it's a colleague at work, or someone you're interviewing for a job, or someone you've been on a date with, whatever it is, you get that gut feel, don't you? There's either the chemistry or there isn't. You trust them or you don't. There's something about them or there's not. And there's a communication going on where if they're being slightly deceptive, they'll be communicating because the brain transmits on those two channels, the structural channel and how it's produced, how it's formed within the brain. That
Yeah. And see, the thing is, when he's saying, I'm just going to go out for a walk around the neighborhood, oh, I just want to clear my head. My belief is he's not trying to clear his head. He's trying to call Nicole Kessinger. That's really what all of this is. I think that a part of it is, yes, he does want to get out of the house because he's guilty and he doesn't want to be there with the police. But I think another part of it is that is what, yes, that's what it was. Someone in the chat said that Chris Watts falls apart without Nicole Kessinger. And that's exactly it. I think that at this point, Chris doesn't have any guidance from Nicole Kessinger. And so the whole time that he's standing outside and he's waiting and he's like, oh, I'm just going to clear my head. It's really him waiting to see if Nicole calls him or texts him or tells him what to do next. Because the reality is that Chris Watts is completely useless without Nicole Kessinger. He's lost. There's no way that he can think on his own without Nicole telling him what to do. And I think that at this point, without Nicole's, I wouldn't even say approval, without Nicole's backing, I feel like maybe Chris was already feeling that Nicole Kessinger was backing away. But who knows? What do you guys think about that? Yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that Chris was already getting the impression that Nicole Kessinger was getting, I don't know, cold feet, or that she was going to go to the police at this point? Because he's definitely lost. He's lost in the sauce by this point. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't have his other brain thinking for him. So now he's having to figure it out on his own. And of course, like I said, he doesn't have the intellectual capacity to be able to think ahead. He needs Nicole Kessinger for this. All right, I ended the poll. Do we think Chris Watts turned off Vivint for the month of July and then back on? 81% said yes, 14% said I don't know, and then 5% said no. Oh, okay. 140 votes total. Thank you to all who voted. All right. Yes, NK is guilty. And she did throw him under the bus. Yeah. So yeah, this is my other question. Do you guys think that Chris was starting to get ideas, that he was already probably thinking that Nicole Kessinger is gonna rat him out? Because that's the way I see it. Oh my God, my throat. Yeah, that's the way I see it, especially because he's out there waiting for Nicole Kessinger, it seems like, or he's waiting for some guidance. That's what it looks like to me. But you guys let me know what you think. Let's continue.
tells us the state of mind of the individual. And where we would expect to see something different, we put in a deception marker, a flag, to say that this is unusual, to minimize and clear your head and walk around the neighborhood. You know, your wife and daughter are missing. There's priority ahead of this. Does that make sense? Can you see that? And yet his priority when first met by law enforcement is escape. Think about that. Look, he wants to get the hell out of there. Do you see? That's suspicious. And so the police officer's gut feeling, his experience or her experience through this communication system at the unconscious level, or call it the gut feeling or the experience. You know, you've heard it before. All we're really doing now is slowing down and seeing what we've heard. Because our gut feelings are working perfectly. We're human. It's designed to. All we're doing here with Veroscope is slowing it all down and finding out why it's triggering our gut feelings. It also then makes it a lot easier to see it, hear it, and connect it quickly so that you start to get far more of the picture of the communication, which is another benefit of learning the skill. By the way, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do. And if you get any real value out of the next 10 or 20 minutes in the video, please do remember to like the video as a thank you. That really does help the numbers grow a little bit. Well, you as an individual, perhaps not, but together. I always like to think it does, though, a little bit, don't you? When I hype or when I like, I think it helps. Anyway, it makes me feel good that I've done my bit.
Aw.
So thank you if you have.
Yes, guys, it does help to subscribe. It really does. It does help the channel. It helps the channel grow, and it gets more videos out to more people who are interested in the case. Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, if you haven't done so, and I don't like to do this in all of my videos and all of my live streams, but yes, if you like the live stream and you like the video, please go ahead and like and subscribe.
I do appreciate it. I really do. And one of the other things that was interesting is this 45-minute conversation, and he can't quote what they've said. All we get is about us on the house in separation. We were both pretty emotional, still crying. So he can't produce a sentence. This isn't a 45-minute conversation. Let's go back to the video itself.
I have access through here.
Let's go check those and see if she pulled any cash out or if there's any strange charges or anything.
Okay.
Can you log?
I can't log in because she does all the finances.
Okay.
So I know her password. I just don't have her used already. I'm not sure what she would have used that way. Sorry, my phone's just blowing up right now.
No, you're fine.
I have her password, but I don't have the user ID. What? I have the password, but not the user ID. How is that? How does that even make sense? How do you have the password to the bank app, but not the user ID? It's more common to see the other way around, right? I have the username, but I don't have the password. He's saying, oh, she handles all the finances. I don't have any of the information. I do have the password, though, which is the most important thing to get into the app, but I don't have the username. I'm surprised he didn't say, oh, I would, but I just don't have internet. I would, but I just don't know how to turn on Wi-Fi. I would, but I have a new Nokia phone. It doesn't have apps. I have a beeper. I have a pager. What else? What other excuse is he going to make up? Monique, welcome. Welcome to Silver. Thank you. Welcome to the club. Celebrate. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, isn't this crazy? Even the way he's explaining it, I have the password, but not the username. I have a router, but I don't have Wi-Fi. I pay for internet, but I just don't get it. What? These are all ridiculous excuses, all of them.
Who do you guys bank through?
USAA and Chase.
Can you call them and see if
Yep.
there's any?
Okay, so we'll often hear the criminal say sorry in the initial conversations, and here we have him say, "Sorry, my phone's blowing up." Is that what he said? But we recognize the sorry, we recognize the apology. It happens so often enough that we recognize it. Okay, we have a suspect apologizing, and the apology will often be via, in this case, his phone blowing up. Isn't that an interesting turn of phrase? Blowing up. So we would note that. What's blowing up?
Any activity? Any withdrawals or anything? And then the suitcases that she came home this morning with, which ones were those? Was
The
the
black
one?
one that's sitting right there.
Not the one in the bedroom?
That was from the last trip, or when we just got back a few days ago from North Carolina. She went to Arizona like 2 days later. That was when we just got put back down in the basement.
Did you notice that?
You guys don't have any?
And he never looks up from his phone. He never looks up from his phone. He is just glued to the screen. I don't know. She went to North Carolina. And then, yeah, she went to Arizona like 2 days later. Yeah, it's the stuff that is over there. Yeah, I don't know. What is that? What is that? Obviously, right? We know what he did. He's very guilty, but he's so bad at lying. See, the thing is that Chris Watts was only able to lie to people who actually believed his bullshit. That's the problem here, is that he only lied to his mom, his dad, his sister, his teachers, all people who actually believe his lies. People who saw Chris as the facade that he was, right? They saw the mask that he wore and they all thought, "Oh, this timid, shy guy, oh, he would never lie." Except because he grew up believing that people believe his lies, he's doing it now again, but he doesn't know how to do it in front of people who don't know him. And so I think that's the problem here is he doesn't know how to act when he's lying to police or people who don't know him. People who know that he is suspicious. He doesn't know how to convince them. But he's able to do that with his family. He's done it his whole life. And so I think that's what's happening here, is that his body doesn't know how to react when strangers are challenging him. Yes, he has a history of lying. Yes, Julie, he does. He really does. He looks at his phone waiting for NK to call him. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what he's doing the whole time. Help me, Nicole. How do I answer this question? By the time that this was happening, Nicole is already checked out. She's already like, "You're on your own, bro. I saw that train wreck on 9 News. You're on your own." But you can see him here. He is so desperate for help. Help me. Help me, please. He's on his own. He can't. There's no getting out of this because he doesn't have Nicole Kessinger, his brain. Let's continue.
Stockpiles of cash or anything in the house that she would have had. If she needed cash, she needed to go to the bank to get it.
If there is, I would not know about it. I mean, if there was, I didn't know.
Do you know how much cash she usually carries with her?
It's usually not, maybe like 100.
Are you noticing the weird, strange patterns?
Turn signal's on.
It's been on. Might have to turn and hurry.
Dispatch, Frederick 988. I don't know, there's
Did it say what it was for?
No, it said Target. And there was a taxi cab limousine purchase that I posted on the 12th. That was on Chase. It was like $15. It was very kind of big taxi cab limousine service.
Does she have a passport?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure where she keeps that one.
Kids have passports?
No, they're old enough.
How old are they?
4 and 3.
Yeah, they're on.
Oh, they? Okay. No, they haven't traveled anywhere other countries.
Yeah,
Did he just ask, are they old enough? Are they old enough to have a passport? There's no age limit for passports. This is how stupid this man is. A newborn baby can get a passport. And again, he just doesn't have the intelligence or the knowledge. And so he's just stumbling the whole time. Oh, are they old enough? And then the cop asks, oh, how old are they? It doesn't matter how old they are. I had a passport when I was 1 because I had to travel. My parents had to take me out of the country, and so I had to go. What are they going to do? Just leave me here by myself? Leave her under the rock. She's not old enough to have a passport. It's okay. Just leave her under the bridge. We'll come back and pick you up later, daughter. It's okay. You're not old enough yet to travel. Come on. Anybody can get a passport. Again, this is a man that annihilated his family, and he lacks intelligence. He did not do this by himself. I'll keep saying that until the day that I die. He did not do this by himself, or at least until the day that Nicole Kessinger is brought to justice. Whichever comes first, which, I hope it's the latter. Let's continue.
You have passport for all of them.
Oh, okay.
So that taxi cab service, did you guys use anything like that? Because that might be Uber.
Can you imagine the thoughts that are going through his mind? So we have the sleep issue, the sleep problem. Still crying. Do you remember, we always recognize this and look at the word still. It's often a clue. It's very vague, isn't it? We were both pretty emotional, still crying. So we've got no conversation. Everything, and this is what the gaslighter does. These statements, that they rely on the listener filling in the gaps.
Yes.
And if we train our ear not to, in deception they become obvious. Knowing where the lies are within a statement allows us to measure various changes in word structure so that we can start to build a pattern, start to build this clusters of deception markers that turn into superclusters, and then we confirm it with some of the mathematics.
I like this sentence here because there is no isolated self-emotion his brain can attach to that morning without attaching to what he was doing. I love this because it shows that this is why he's lying, because there is no way that he can talk about that morning without attaching his memory to the strangulation of his wife. So what we see is Chris Watts saying, yeah, we were both pretty emotional. We were both crying. And he's doing it in that way, very monotone, no emotion whatsoever, because that's not what happened. And just reading this here, right, it says that he never once in the whole interview said, I was upset. He never once said, I've been sick about this. Oh, please find my family. I'm suffering over this. Nothing. He is emotionless. And so when talking about the memory of the morning, all he can say is, we were both pretty emotional, still crying. Yeah, it's not a memory, it's a label. And again, when we apply this type of analysis to Nicole Kessinger, it's the same. It's the same thing. She doesn't have a memory because that's not the memory that she remembers. And so she's having to say other things like, I don't know, I remember the TV being turned on though, right? She deflects from the original question because she doesn't have a fake memory about it. So she deflects and talks about the TV in the background, or she'll talk about the laundry. She'll talk about other things that have nothing to do with the original question because it's a fake memory. It's a lie. And so rather than give herself up, she deflects. And so this is what Chris is doing, but he can't deflect. And the reason he can't deflect is because he's the primary suspect. The cops are there in front of him in his house, and there's two of them looking at him. And so there's no deflecting. He can't just say, oh, I don't know, I was mowing the lawn, right? He can't talk about another thing because one, he's being watched, and two, he's too stupid and he can't think on his own without help from Nicole Kessinger. And so he has to stand there and just say, I was crying. We were both still crying with zero expression in his face. What do we think? He can lie, but he can't act. Exactly. Yes, very robotic, Shelley. Exactly. Both been doing it all their lives. Yep. Andrea Burton. Yeah, they've been doing this their whole lives. We analyze both people, and it seems as though this is what they've been doing their whole lives. They know how to lie, but they only know how to lie to people who believe their lies, except for Nicole Kessinger. She's different. She is a pathological liar that doesn't feel guilt. So it's very different for her. She lies to get her way, which is, it's so weird, but it's also very impressive to see her do it. Eric Isa, thank you for the super chat. Aw, thank you. Ooh, celebrate. All right, let's read. Chris Watts does the swaying back and forth, the self-soothing hug so much in videos. It's obvious, you can tell he's hiding something. Yes, that he did something. Even Tammy Lee pointed it out right away. Yeah, it's the way that he's self-soothing the whole time. He's always doing this thing where he's rocking back and forth. And every time that he's explaining something, he does the thing with his hands. And then what is the self-soothing that we see with Nicole Kessinger? That's the self-soothing that we see with Nicole Kessinger. She goes, she does the ridiculous eye blink. Uh-huh. God, it's hurting the back of my brain just doing that. But that's what Nicole Kessinger does. She can't self-soothe any other way. She can't be doing this, right? And then swaying back and forth in front of Kevin. So then every time she lies or she does or says something deceptive, she does this. And then later, we even see her mess around with her purse. She's doing weird things, anything except answering the question, because the question is obviously going to give her away. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because it's very clear both of them are self-soothing. They do it in very different ways, though, but it is a form of self-soothing, for sure. Let's continue.
So in other words, let's say Normally, as their baseline, they would be used.
Shelley, yes, poking herself in some shape or form. Yes, yeah. I completely forgot about the finger in the mouth thing. Yeah, she does poke herself in one way or another. She'll be like, "Mm, is that the chicken bone from last weekend?" Right? All of a sudden, she has something in her mouth that she needs to remove. Oh, sorry, Kevin, I can't answer this question because there's a whole rib in my mouth. Give me a second. What is she doing? It's so weird. That is not normal behavior. You don't answer a question and then go, "Uh-huh. What's back there?" What in the world? Not only is it disgusting, right? It's weird to be putting your finger in your mouth in front of a group of men all watching you. It's just not normal. You don't do that in front of anybody. You don't do that in public. It's gross, right? At least I don't. I'm not gonna be flossing my teeth, right? I'm waiting at the DMV. I'm not gonna be like, am I next? Yeah, I'm just trying to get my registration. That's disgusting. And then put my nasty hands all over the place, right? Oh, yeah, you want me to sign with my finger? Okay, hold on. Oh, sorry, that's all the saliva. Here, let me wipe it down. Sorry about that. That's disgusting. Who does that? Nobody, which tells me that it was a nervous tick. It's not something that she normally does. She doesn't go around doing that and then shaking people's hands. It's horrendous. Yeah, she is gross. Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, it's dirty. It's dirty. It's disgusting. It's just not polite. You don't do that in front of people. You do that in your bathroom, in the privacy of your home when no one's watching you. You're not gonna be scratching and like, in public. At least that's not what I see Nicole Kessinger doing, right? Let's continue.
Using lots of I pronoun and lots of causal words being words like because and so and since, in other words, the reasons why. But let's say they suddenly drop at a certain point in the statement, perhaps the part where they cut out the videotape, the 2 minutes they don't want you to know about, and stitch the videotape back together again, metaphorically speaking, if they're lying by omission, for example.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope she didn't pick her nose first, Tootsie. Could you imagine? Oh, it's a little salty. What did I eat earlier? Well, we know she wasn't eating the chips because they were still on the table. She had not touched them. So if it's salty, what were you doing, Nicole? Let's continue.
So we've got the linguistics of someone that is cutting an awful lot of the truth out and is now having to refill the time with very vague statements that don't quite fill the time unless the listener allows them to. Unless the listener fills in the gaps for the narrator, these do not hold. Does that make sense? It's often important to look at the strength of some of the words: talked, told, asked, said. Do you see the differences? So we get discussed. It's very formal, isn't it? It's distant. Disgust is something you do. I don't know. He's not. Do you see by disguising the truth, we know our alarm bells go off. Does that make sense to you? So the use of the
Yes. Does this make sense? It's the words that he's using. Just read, Chris. Read. Reading is so good for you. Just read. All the words that Chris uses while he's describing this are way too big for Chris. These words are too big for Chris's vocabulary. Chris is a like and awesome type of guy. So using words like disgust, I have no inclination, those are all words that seem like they were pre-planned, if that makes sense. It's almost as if he read it somewhere or maybe he discussed it with somebody else and then he's just using that same plan to explain what is happening. Because it's true. If your family went missing, you're not going to be talking about how you discussed something last night. No, you're going to be in tears. You're going to be freaking out. You're going to be like, yeah, we talked about things. Yeah, and this is what was happening. A lot of it is going to be very, I don't know, very natural English or whatever language you're speaking, right? You're not going to be using very big words. Oh, well, we discussed the future and we were very sophisticated about it. Yes. Like, what? Why is he talking about it this way? It seems like he read it in a thesaurus. Discussion. It means to talk to somebody about something very specific. And so then he's using it here in this context, which again, it doesn't fit in this scenario. It just doesn't. That's when I discussed it with her. It just doesn't fit. It's not natural for you to talk this way when your family is missing. And definitely not for someone like Chris Watts. He's not a professor of any sort. And he's not really intelligent. And he has a very limited vocabulary. So for him to say disgust to me seems like a very big word. He probably doesn't even know how to spell it. What do you guys think? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he doesn't have a brain. It's too out of context. Yes, it's too out of context for Chris. Yes, Julie, it was too scripted. Yeah, exactly. It sounds scripted. I wonder if there is footage of them at the Lazy Dog. It's a complete lie. Yes, all of this is very scripted. And this is where I get the idea that the Lazy Dog and the 111-minute conversation was mostly them going back and forth. Hey, Chris, so what are you going to do if the police ask you? And Chris is like, okay, Nikki, yeah, we went over this. I'm going to say we discussed it. I discussed it with her. And then I'm going to tell them that I have no inclination of where they're at. And it was just something that they were talking about back and forth. And of course, the idiot butchered it. No surprise there. Shocker. Of course he's going to butcher it. He doesn't have the capacity to be able to do this successfully without Nicole Kessinger's help. Let's continue.
The word is probably the reason why most people thought, disgust. It's just the wrong choice of word. And the wrong choices of word for the circumstances very often arise out of this construction, this fabrication, the bit where they have to cut the real truth out, and then stitch the videotape back together with this 5 minutes of fabrication. And here's an example of the wrong selection, the wrong choice, and it jars. Remember, he's talking about weird. Sorry, that's a couple of errors there.
Okay, I want to go back to the laundry. Okay, right here. Because so many of you have
sorry, that's
right here. So many of you have mentioned the laundry. Okay, so the washing machines he was not asked about. While the officers were walking through the house, the washing machines were running. Nobody asked him why. Out of his own mouth, unprompted, okay? This is the thing. No one asked him, but he decides to willingly give up information that no one asked him about.
So,
And this is what he says. Like, most of the time when she does that, she'll want to wash sheets the next day to get the airport off. That's the only thing I can think of. Washing machines, they were still on it. Right? The washing machines were on. As we know, Chris left home that morning. Let's go ahead and pull up the calendar. As we know, Chris left home that morning at 5:48, okay? Around 5:47, 5:48 in the morning. He got home at 2:07? So that means that the washing machines were running for what? 9 hours? What? Five was so let's just round it up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Yeah, that's 8 hours. The washing machines were running for 8 hours. I don't know what type of washing machines these are, but my washing machines cannot run that long. They run the cycle and then it ends. So there is no way that he did the laundry. There's no way. How can he do the laundry when he was at Survey? This is another thing. So other than the phone being shut off randomly, the laundry was also on. The washing machines were going. Who would turn on the washing machines? Shanann had been murdered by that point, and Chris was at Survey 319. Why didn't the cops ask him about this? I swear, the cops dropped the ball on this. They were treating him like a victim. They were treating him like a man who has, his family has disappeared. They were not treating him like a suspect at all. Even though 8 times out of 10, probably even higher, it's usually the partner. 8, 9 times out of 10, it is the partner, right? It is the husband that has disappeared their family. But they weren't treating him this way. They're like, oh, the washing machines are running. And then he says, well, maybe she did them. As we know, she couldn't have done it. What do we think about the laundry? NK did the laundry. Someone had started cleaning when NA popped up. Yes. Yeah, NK was in the house and cleaned. Yes, he's implying that Shanann put him in the wash. Yes, Carolette, he's trying to say that it was Shanann who put everything in the washing machine. But as we know, she didn't. And it couldn't have been Chris, because why is the washing machine still running? What kind of washing machines do they have? I'm going to look this up. I do want to see what type of washing machines they have and go down that rabbit hole even, because I want to see what type of setting can make a washing machine run for 8 hours straight. That's a lot of wasted water. I mean, we're not even just talking about the washing machine itself. That is a lot of water that you would be wasting for a whole 8 hours of just washing sheets. So, of course, that's not a possibility. The most likely thing that happened is that someone was in the house and they were cleaning up and they put the stuff in the laundry. Who knows? Who knows? Yes. Yeah, to put on the timer was not logical. It was better that he made it before the morning he left. So it's just weird, right? This whole part. The only thing I can think of, again, an explanation offered before any question. There was no question asked, and he starts talking already. He's saying, oh, it was probably her. That's because it wasn't her. Who else did this? Let's continue.
a couple of errors there. I'm speeding up for time in case anybody wants to slow down, but there are some errors here where I think one of the police officers asked about the asthma, and in the report, in the transcript, it put it down as Chris, but that was an error. Okay, I think that brings us to the end of today's Veroscope, and we'll carry on with the report. Perhaps I'll go back a few numbers and we'll explain it in more detail tomorrow. So please do subscribe. Please do remember to like the video, and please do remember to comment. And where you find us.
All right. Yeah, so that was it for Veroscope's video. And yeah, please go ahead and you can watch his videos. Go ahead and like and subscribe to his channel. And then yeah, while you're at it, go ahead and like and subscribe to mine as well. But yeah, this one last thing I wanted to show you guys before we go here. The next live stream that we're going to do is going to be on Sunday. As you guys requested, we did a poll and the majority of you voted to have a live stream on Sundays at 2 p.m. So that's going to be our next live stream. And it's going to be on Nicole Kessinger's call logs. And really just trying to figure out what is going on here. I've been doing some research on trying to understand what is happening here. Okay, I don't really understand how forensics work or trying to retrieve messages works. So I am doing a lot of research on that to try and understand what is going on here. But I did want to show you guys something very, very quickly. And it's this. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before. Look at this part. They have the Dead Sea Scrolls at the museum, but it's sold out. Chris sent Nicole Kessinger a text message, it looks like at 12:24, the day before the murders, saying they have the Dead Sea Scrolls at the museum, but they're sold out. We have literally been making all kinds of jokes about Chris Watts. And it so happened that he actually did think that you can buy the Dead Sea Scrolls at the museum. If Nicole Kessinger wasn't over him by this point, I don't know how much more stupidity she needed to see from Chris for her to be turned off by him, which prompted her to respond, "No, dude, you can't buy the scrolls, lols." Dude, the Dead Sea Scrolls are some, right? So it goes up. Some of the oldest, most important, and then it goes up here. God, where is it? Right here. Some of the most important writing in the world. What in the world? So that's what prompted her to say that. It was in response to Chris saying they have the Dead Sea Scrolls at the museum, but it's sold out. Oh my God. This guy is such an idiot. Wow. How much is the Mona Lisa? Oh, they're sold out. How much for, how much for the mummy? How much is that mummy from ancient Egypt? Oh, it's sold out already? Oh, it's been reserved? It's on hold? Oh, I came too late, I guess. Oh, I should have just called to reserve it over the phone. What? This is insane. But here we see that these messages were actually, they were deleted, right? And so we see that when the police tried to recover them, they were recovered, but it was recovered in a very different way. And that's why we see these dots here, which are very different from these messages that were recovered. Her conversations between Nicole and her friend Charlotte, which when we see these are fully, this is the full content. But when we see Chris's messages, we have these weird periods after every word, after every letter. And so I'm doing research on why this is happening and trying to really, educate myself on what all of this means and how forensic data and how the FBI is able to pull this information back. But this is crazy. I would have deleted that too. Yes, yes, King Tut. I'll take King Tut for $1,000, please. Yes, King Tut. That's actually the mummy I was thinking about. I'm like, God, what's that guy's name? King Tut. Yes. This is Chris Watts. This is how stupid this man is. This is a man who thinks that he can actually buy the Dead Sea Scrolls at a museum. Let's just go ahead and see. Like, I like to Google these things because I like to put myself in the mindset of these idiots. And so I just like to Google it. Like, let's go ahead and see what pops up when we Google Dead Sea Scrolls and how much we can purchase them for. So Dead Sea Scrolls. What did he Google? For sale? At museum? Is that what he Googled? Like, I can't even think of anything that you could be Googling. Oh God, is he that dumb? Okay, he was probably Googling like the Etsy version. What? Look at this. The Museum of Bible in Washington, D.C. is hosting a major exhibition, right? While the original priceless artifacts are not for sale. That's why they're priceless, because they're not for sale. They have no price. The museum store sells replicas, books, educational materials related to the exhibit with exhibition-only tickets available for $14.99. So yeah, look at this. Dead Sea Scroll rollerball pens. It's a pen with the Dead Sea Scroll wrapped around it. So this is probably what he was looking at. He's like, "Oh, they have them for sale, Nikki. Oh, they're sold out though." What an idiot. And of course, that's why Nicole Kessinger's like, "Dude, are you so stupid? These are the most ancient writings in the world. You can't buy any of this stuff. You can't just walk into the museum and buy King Tut." What? You can't go into the museum and buy the original Code of Hammurabi from ancient Mesopotamia. That's not how this works. But clearly Chris Watts is so incredibly naive and ignorant that he doesn't even understand something as basic as how museums and ancient artifacts work. Wow. But anyway, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining today's live stream. It was really fun. I love doing these. I really do love doing these analyses with Veroscope because he's awesome. He's funny as hell. And I love that he doesn't hold back. I love that. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining. I really appreciate you all. And yes, our next live stream will be on Sunday at 2 p.m. So yeah, be on the lookout for that one. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much. Have a great weekend. Please take care. Thank you to all my moderators. Thank you to my members. Welcome to all of our new members. Thank you to my subscribers. And thank you all so much for watching. All right. Thank you. Take care, you guys. I'll see you next time.